Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Jamie, and I'm your host today. And today we're going to talk about Fibonacci. Um, First, I want to say that I read this book right here, and it is not necessary for you to do the same. But one of the things that he talked about in this book is when you place the Fibonacci, it's subjective. So basically the Fibonacci tool is levels of, it marks levels of support and resistance, and you can use it for where you're projecting price to go. So we'll talk about that today when we talk about NVIDIA. But that's the biggest thing I got from this book is when you place the Fibonacci, it's subjective. So don't ever think like, oh, I don't know if this is right. And what, you'll get into it and you'll figure out how it works for you and whatever you're trying to measure. So just keep that in mind as you listen to this conversation today and use the Fibonacci. So first I'm going to show some Fibonacci's that I have set up. And in TradingView, it's called the Fibonacci Retracement tool. Where's it at? Fibonacci Retracement. So this is the one that we use, but they have Fibonacci that are time-based, at some point I'm gonna get into all that, but I'm not there yet. I'm just on the retracement tool. So I'll share with you settings that I have set for the different ones that I'm going to talk about today. And then, you can just, create templates and create some, for your own, on your own. So this one right here is the Fibonacci retracement tool with extensions, right? And so for those of you that study ICT, he has these same levels, but his numbers are rounded. So they might be off by pennies, but I just use the default levels that are in TradingView. But if you look at ICT's video in the Market Maker Primer series, and like say you want to use his levels, you could do that. And you can see those levels in the Market Maker Primer series video number 18, where he talks about OTE. So he shows a screen in there where he has all his settings. So basically, if you say you want to use this might be the default. I don't know if I can't remember if I changed it. Let me look. So if you go in here, double click on the bubble, this is the Fibonacci, the settings here. So let me apply the default and see if it changes, because I might have changed this. Apply defaults. Yeah, I changed it. Yeah, so this is when you first go in TradingView to see the Fibonacci tool. This is what it's going to look like. But I don't like my numbers on the right, excuse me, on the left, because it's covered by candles. If there's candles over here, so I moved them over to the right. So I customized my tool to be how I want it to look. So if you look at the TradingView video, I show how you can save templates. And so you can, create your own template for your Fibonacci tool. But I'm just going to go back over to this right here. And this is the one that I customized for myself. So we'll talk about this Fibonacci tool again. Here are all the different levels that I have set. I'll start at the top. So you can look at that. I also use one that doesn't have the extension. So it's the same as the one as the extension, but it just doesn't have all the levels up there, because sometimes I'm just measuring like price in this area here and I don't even care about the extensions. So I have this one here. So basically this has the same settings as the previous one, but it just doesn't have all these other levels. It just has the ones that are, within the 100 and 0. So those are the settings for that fib. I also use one that measures quadrants. So sometimes we'll see that price will retrace into a fair value gap 25%, or it'll go 50%, or it'll go.
I'm in.
Huh? What'd you say, Hillary?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize my mic was open.
Oh, that's all right. So sometimes I just use this, because I don't want to see the other levels on the other Fibonacci. So it just depends on what I'm doing that will determine which one I want to use. And so this one is, those are the settings for that there. Right. Uh-oh. I guess I didn't set this to mute people when they come in, so don't worry about it when you come in. That's on me. So then let me see. And then this one right here I like, because when I'm like measuring an area, maybe on a daily chart, and I don't want to see a bunch of levels, lines and all that. I just want to see whether or not we're in a premium and a discount. I like this one because it gives me a visual. Like if I know, like say I'm on the chart and it's big and it's over a period of time, I might not see the high and low. I might not know where we are, the way that I know where we are in the grand scheme of things is like if price is up here in a particular price leg I'm looking at, I know I'm in a premium because it's red, and I know I'm in a discount because it's green. So I really like this little box. And here are the settings for that you can mirror on your own computer. I think those are the main ones that I use. So ICT talks about TGIF, and that's when on a weekly range of a candle, the candle can retrace, up to 30% in, or 20%, I think it is, in a weekly range. So what I would do is like just use this to measure the weekly range. And then if it's TGIF and price is going to retract down, I got my 20%, 30%, 40%, so you can use something like that. And that's the settings there for that. And I haven't used that in a while. And another one I created is the new week opening gap. He talks about marking that and understanding that a new week opening gap can be the draw on liquidity. So I know if I have, this is basically that 50% fib, the one with the green and the red, but I just make this blue and red here, so it kind of distinguishes that. I know that when I see these colors on the chart that it's a new week opening gap, and so I use that as well. And that's the settings on that. And then lastly, oftentimes you'll see me use the Gann box, and I think you can find the Gann box over here too, right? And it's basically like the only thing I use the Gann box for is like if I say I'm looking at a fair value gap or something, and I just want to use this, just real quick, throw this on, I'll use this. My Fibonacci extends over to the right. My Gann doesn't. So if I'm just measuring like a small price range, fair value gap or something like that, I'll just throw this on. But it serves the same purpose as the, oh, come on. It serves the same purpose as this one. But the only difference is this one extends over. I have it set to extend to the right. This one doesn't. So sometimes I might not want it to extend over to the right. I'm just looking at a very narrow section, so I'll use the Gann box. And this is the settings for the Gann box, if you choose to use that. And the default Gann box looks like that, right? So I'm like, I don't even know what's going on there. I don't know. I mean, I can figure it out. It's obviously the fib levels here, and then the fib levels here, because oftentimes you'll see price react to levels, what is that, horizontally, or laterally? Is that what that is? So, but I just use my good old trusty, oh, I didn't have to do that, just this one here. This is the one that I use. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't save the other one, the quad one as a default, so I'll have to do that, but, so I reset it back, so. So those are the different, fib levels that I use. Does anybody have any questions before we proceed on? Since I messed my thing up, I'm going to go ahead and save it.
I do have a question. I just had a mouthful of food. Are the numbers always the same? It's just a matter of which ones you take on and off as templates?
You mean, are these numbers, these numbers are like the measurements are, but obviously the price is gonna change based on where.
Yeah, but the measurements, like, so if I go into it, like, I'm gonna go into it right now, like on TradingView,
Mhm.
and just see the default. I guess it's just a matter of deciding which numbers we're gonna have on there, how it's shaded, but the numbers itself won't change. And with the extension, you said that it would be just a matter of choosing that one, the fib with the extension, right?
Yep.
Because I think, I guess I'll just go in and play with it a little bit.
Mhm. Well, I mean, if you do it while we're on the call and you come up with a question, then just ask, feel free to
Okay,
ask.
okay.
So the thing about the fib is sometimes people will be like, I don't know how to draw it. You did top down. I thought it was supposed to be bottom up. Mm. The fib, depending on where you click and drag it, if you start here and go down or start here and go up, it's going to be based on the previous settings that you had when you laid the fib down. So, and this is only for TradingView. It might be different for other platforms, but I'm only focused on TradingView. So, like on this one right here, let's take it off. So I went from the bottom up, right? So you would think, oh, the higher numbers will be at the bottom because I don't know what you would think, but the bottom up. But I guess previously, before I laid that other fib, maybe I had did or maybe I started top down before. I don't even know what I did. I wish I was paying attention. But basically I'm saying this to say is it doesn't matter if you start from the bottom up or the top down. What matters is that you can say you wanted the higher numbers at the top. Well, then just drag this up here, right? That's one way you can get it up there. Say you want the higher numbers at the bottom. Well, then just drag it like that. That's one way, you can get it. And some people might use this trend line. I don't tend to use this trend line, but you can use it when you're doing your analysis. So you could do that. Or say you want the higher numbers at the top. You could just double click here. Oftentimes you'll see me do that and go in here and hit reverse, and then it'll put the higher numbers at the top. So it doesn't really matter what you click first and how you drag it on your chart. You can always just switch it. Right. And for me, I know I saw a Thinkorswim video, and they were doing their charting, and they had the higher numbers at the top looking for like bullish retracements. And I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that because the price is here. You want to see how deep the retracement is. So if it gets here, it's, it retraced 0.236. If it gets here, if it gets here, it's 50%. If it gets here, so I don't understand when people have their higher numbers of the fib at the top. So, like I said from the top of the call, placing the fib is subjective. You figure it out and use it however it works for you. I'm just talking about how it works for me right now. So that's the thing about placing the fib. Don't worry about if you should drag from the top or the bottom or whatever. Just know that you can switch it however you want. And then if you use this trend line in your analysis, because maybe you want to see, where is it in a trend or something like that? You know what I mean? You can use that. And then you might say like you want the trend line to be going up this way if you're looking for a bullish retracement coming up, bearish coming up to one of these levels. So that's just a key point that I always get all the time is like, how do you know how to put it on a chart? There you go. You can flip it. It doesn't matter how you put it on the chart in TradingView. Does anybody have any questions about that? All right. So, on our previous call, we talked about AMD. So I'll just show this again. And this is like one of those times where I might, like in this example, because it's a nice visual. I have put the my little colorful box on here. Ooh, that's not a fib. So say I put this on and this is not the fib I want. I could just double click over here, go to my templates, go to my 50% fib. And I always want the red at the top because a red for me is premium, a green is discount. So while I'm in here, I can just reverse it like that. So the nice thing is, like, oftentimes we're looking for a price. We want to buy in a premium and sell in a discount. So this is a perfect example of when you measure this price leg from this swing low to this swing high. When you measure this price leg, you're looking for price to come down into a discount and preferably into some kind of level that you would be looking to buy. So whether it's a fair value gap, an order block, we got an order block right here, a buyer zone, a buyer's gap. We see you got a buyer's gap right here. And there's some people that have the thought that buyer's gap is filled once price goes through the gap between this candle and this candle. But for me, I always point out that Steve Neeson in the candlestick, what's the name of the book? I got it right here. Japanese candlestick charting techniques. He says in that book that a gap is not closed until a candle closes below it. So there's some schools of thought that would say this gap right here is closed, right? But you see how price came into it here and found some support, and then it came back to it here and found some support. So keep that in mind when you're looking for levels in a lower time frame. Excuse me. If you're looking for levels in a discount, you know, that would be something that you're looking for. So you might even have something like this marked as an area where you would consider getting in a trade, right? But the key is that you put the fib on it to understand where price is, whether it's in a premium or a discount. So some people might have this level right here marked, and it's in a premium, right? It's in the red, so you wouldn't necessarily look to get in here because you want to buy in a discount. Do people follow that? How using the fib can help you. Go ahead, Patty.
Yes, I'm following.
Yeah, thank you. So that's the benefit of using the fib. If you don't use the fib for nothing else, use it to know when you're in a premium or a discount. And this particular fib I like because of the colors. But you can use any one because the main thing is that you want to see equilibrium. The equilibrium is 50% between this low and this high is 50%. So no matter what fib you use, you just want to make sure that you're in 50% discount. Goes down into a discount. All right, so that's what I got for that. We did that, 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 we did that. All right. So on NVIDIA, I'm gonna talk about the Fib extension. So at some point, NVIDIA all the way back here was at all-time highs, right? So one of the things that you can do, like when you're at all-time highs, you don't know where price is going. So one of the things that people do is use the Fib extension, Fib retracement with the extension to project where price could go. And so we were looking at this when, I don't even know why I have this here. That might have been an old. We were looking at, okay, where how can we use the Fib extension to project where price is going? So what we did is measured this price range right here, and we put the Fib extension on. Fib with extension. And so notice how this is so vertical. Swing low, swing high, price retraces down into a discount, order block, also a propulsion block, and took off. So then what do? You're like, okay, I want to take it to different fib levels. So, the way I have my extension set here, you have the 0.5 extension that it went to. Then you're like, okay, it's gonna keep going. I'm gonna go to the next fib level. Okay, there you go. And it just kept on climbing up through these different extension levels. And so this is when you can use the fib extension as your target. So we see up here, it got around this 2 and kind of consolidated here, and then eventually just ripped through 2.5 and almost made it to 3. So, and what I'm noticing here is look how it price went up and came back, and it basically found some support on this level to propel it up. So, the fib measures support and resistance. And oftentimes we see that resistance becomes support. And that's what happened right here. These were, levels that price would target and potentially be your resistance. But eventually what happened here is that it became support right there. And let's use our Gann box to see where it came to in that fair value gap. See that 50%, excuse me, 25%. Pretty much came 25%. So this is an example of me. I might have the extension on here, then I might throw this on, and instead of using the fib with the levels that extend all the way over here, all I want to do is see like where is this retracement coming, so I can just throw my Gann box on there and see that. So that's what we did when we were looking over here. We were like, we were charting over here, and we were like, where? Oh no, we were down here, because we had marked this. So yeah, we were down in here, and we were like, where's price gonna go? So we just threw the fib on down here, because this is pretty much the origin of this run up. And that's how we got these levels here. And then Aaron, and I'm gonna talk about Patty, we'll go to you, Patty, and talk about that trade that you took and how you use the fib. So what Aaron did is he had measured this right here. I think you came to this one, and let me flip it. So you can like measure this price.
Continue on I-290 East for 2 miles.
Is that what you did, Aaron? I know you did it this way and then you did it this way, but did I get it right? Okay, yeah. So Aaron, when he was watching it, he was like, okay, we got the fib. And then you basically use this to get your extension levels, right? Here and here.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So you could do that too, right? So then good old Patty, the NVIDIA Slayer, the way she did is, let me see if I got this right, Patty Pooh. She did this. So let me see if I get it right, Patty. She was like, okay, I'm gonna throw the fibs on those 2 candles, these 2 candles right here. And then she got in here, and then she used the extension up here for her levels that price was going to. Is that right, Patty?
Yes, ma'am. So I actually did the green candle to the left. That was my lowest point.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
Okay, got you. I got you. Thank you. Yeah. So look at that. So she had her swing low here, her swing high here. Price dropped down. You got in on this candle, right? When it
Yes,
dropped down?
ma'am. Got in there. I got in at 609.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 contracts, and then I stacked 2 more contracts when it started to turn around.
Yeah.
And 611.
Yep. So that's how you can use the fib, the extension. Let me say that, the extension. Because, if price is gonna keep on moving up, it's gonna target, see how it came straight to this one up here and then pull back, because this is a level of resistance. So that was beautiful. That was amazing. So those are examples on how you can use the fib to help you. Does anybody else have any questions up to this point?
I do like just finding the retracement part. Maybe are you like going into settings and just is it like already established in the when you go to the fib retracement tool?
So when you first open up, this is what your fib tool is gonna look like. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Even with the higher numbers at the bottom here, like I don't understand why I need these projections down here. If somebody learns, tell me about it, and then I'm gonna forget about it because it doesn't matter to me. But so this might be one of the cases where somebody puts their Fibonacci on like this, like Patty did, and then I just this is what the default looks like. But you see how hers was more accurate? Let me see, did I measure this right? Yeah. Yeah. You see how I just don't even, this causes my brain to scramble. Like hers was on point, right? She measured here, it had a retracement, it went up and it went straight to a level on her fib. This, I don't get it at all. So I don't think I asked you, what was your question?
It like with the extension, finding the extension, like is that like a setting that's there already?
You just know. Oh, well, so on here, it has these extensions here that I don't understand. So over here, I just use, if you want to use mine, you can use mine. You can, Google search different fib extensions. You can look at the OTE video that I mentioned earlier that is for ICT's fib extensions, but these are just the ones that I picked. And it was just, from here to here, the 0.5, from here to here is 1 standard deviation, and that's how you can get them that way. Does that make sense? And did I
Yeah, I think so. So it sounds like I have to put them in there myself, right?
Yeah.
The numbers.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So all you have to do is, when you look back at this video, you can either take a screenshot now.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. So those are the settings that I have.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
So what Patty did is, Patty, you looked at the retracement for 0.886?
So my entry, I wasn't really using the fib for my entry. I was using it more for my exit because at this point, right, we didn't know where it was going. So what I looked at is over the last month of NVIDIA, right? For the most part, it hasn't been coming back to what you would call a buy zone. It just has continued to run. It's not really coming back. So when I saw the buy zone set up, I just said, I'm gonna wait. And if it happens to come back to this buy zone, that is my conviction to get in. So it was 610. So I'm also usually a bear. So I had took the trade on that candle that day before that, and I did the short. But it wasn't about the fib. I'm a bear and I seen the fall.
Okay.
So that was my exit, was 610. So when I saw that, oh, this formed a great buyer zone, I'm just gonna wait. And that's when I put the fib on to say, where would I get out? So I got in at 609 to go long on that Wednesday. And then when it started to turn around to go back out, I added 2 more contracts at 611. And then I just said, I'm gonna wait until it get up to the where did I get out at? 662, I think is where I got out, but you get the picture. So I just rode all the way up to the 1. But that was for me because we don't have a seller's level really. right? So the fib is to tell us where we could find the resistance. And if you're looking in the fib, what it does tell you is that 610 is in a discount. So that also gives you the confluence to say, okay, it's not in a premium.
Mhm. That part. That part. All right, did that, what did it help? What was that, Shanika, did that help?
Yes.
So this is, you know, the idea is that you just play with it, you know what I mean? Like I would highly recommend that you integrate the fib into your analysis somehow. All right, okay, so we talked about Patty, we talked about NVIDIA, boom, boom, and then I wanted to show Russell. I was looking at Russell on Friday, and I was like, oh, this would be a good example for using the fib. So this is the Russell. And let me see if I can see it, because let me see, did I have this on my other chart? Let me look on my other chart real quick and see if I had it marked over here, because it was so perfect. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. I think I see it. All right. Let's see. Um, Actually, I can show you two things on here because I was using it. All right. All right, this is good. So the setup, I'm not going to go through the setup here, but the setup that we've been talking about, you got it right here, right? This green box up here is the hourly fair value gap. We already know when it hits the hourly fair or order block. It is one of those. That's not the purpose of this call, so I don't want to go into that. But we see price rejected off of it. So then it gave us our setup, right? So what you could do is put the fib on once you get this swing low. And then you can look for it to retrace up into something above 50% here. In this case, it went inside this order block, inside this fair value gap, and then it went straight to the 0.5 fib extension. Right. So sometimes we're like, oh, I'm just going to get in and I'm going to take it to low hanging fruit, you know. So that might be this fair value gap here. That might be this order block here. Or in this case, it just perfectly lined up with the 0.5 extension. Isn't that beautiful? Nobody thinks that's beautiful. Yeah. So that's an extent that this is an example of entering into a PD array that's in a premium to take it down to discount. So that's that. And then I think it was Friday, I was actually trading Russell and I messed up. And but it went to where I was targeting. I was long, and I think I got in around here, and then when here's what I did. Let me take some of this stuff off using the fibs. This is what I did. All right, so I was like, let me measure this area from here to here using the fib. Because a lot of times what we'll see is price will retrace up 50% and then keep on coming down. So when I was in this, I was like, okay, let me take it up to the 702 because ICT talks about the area between the 618 and the 702 being the golden ratio zone. So when I was in this and I wanted to go here, I was like, oh shoot, we're at 50%. What if we're gonna keep going lower? Oh my God, I got a problem. Houston, oh my God, help me. So I ended up getting out with I think I took a small profit. But I just abandoned the trade and went elsewhere when it started to do all this right here. And especially because it was rejecting off the 50%. But then eventually it finally came up here to this level and then ultimately to the 786. So I was like, I'll be doggone. So it spooked me out because I was like, I don't know what we're doing. And I should have been fine because what we did is you got this fair value gap here, it came up to 50% of the fair value gap here, and ultimately we double bottomed on a this is an order block. I don't know what time, maybe it's a 5-minute order block. So anyway. Yeah. So that's how you can use the fib to measure like where you think price is going. Oh, look at there. That you could have had that in your analysis right there. Oh, I did have this on my chart. That was an hourly order block. Yeah, see, came up there, rejected off of it, and it came down to the 0.5 that we showed that I initially shared. All right. Are there any other questions? Does anybody have any questions, or are you like utterly confused? Or are you like, oh my God, or I don't see how this can help me, or oh, I see how this can help me? Anything? Anybody got any parting words before we go? Even when price was falling here, what you could do as price is dropping is be like, you might think like, oh, it's going to heck, oh my God, oh my God. But basically this was just a retracement down to the 786 to launch it up. Yep. All right, I don't see any questions in the chat. I'll stop the recording and then we still have 15 minutes on our call. So if there's anything anybody wants to talk about, that part won't be recorded because I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna record that part. No questions on the fib? Right. Stop recording.